Welcome to the Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place. This is the Best of Mount Pleasant, a special episode of Mount Pleasant Podcast, where you'll meet business owners voted best by Mount Pleasant residents.
Each and every year, the readers of Mount Pleasant magazine select Best of Mount Pleasant. I'm Brian Cleary, introducing you to some of this year's Best of winners. In fact, there are 3 women that we're highlighting who were nominated and became Best of winners thanks to your vote. They're owners and executive directors of Lowcountry businesses, Rebecca Deans, Katie Carter, and Renee Allison-Riley. They are joining me on this very special Best of edition of the Mount Pleasant podcast. Rebecca Deans, let me start with you. Shift into Organized is a Mount Pleasant magazine Best of winner. Rebecca Deans is the owner. Rebecca, let me start here. Decluttered. What in the wide world of sports is decluttered?
Decluttering is truly just taking away all of the things that you don't need. It's actually like a proven fact that over 75% of items in your home are not actually being utilized day to day. If we can start to declutter and get rid of some of those things, it actually frees up a lot more space for you mentally, emotionally, and obviously in your physical space.
Shift into Organized. Is that for me at home? Is that for businesses?
It is for everything. We do homes, we do your businesses. We've worked with balloon artists and artists that have places in the market. We've worked with a hotel downtown. We've worked with all different businesses, but predominantly most of our business is homes. And then we also handle your moves from packing to unpacking as well.
So in an overall sense, who is it that can benefit from reaching out and talking to you at Shift into Organized?
Truly anybody. If you have a home, an apartment, a business, anything, we can help you through the decluttering process or just finding ways to make your home a little bit more functional.
So talk about your business itself. What do you think it means for you and the business to be named by the readers of Mount Pleasant magazine a Mount Pleasant Best of?
What an incredible honor. Being a business owner that is within the first 5 years of business, it's one of those things that just helps with brand awareness. And I'm so incredibly grateful for the 150 families in Mount Pleasant that have brought us into their homes over the last few years. And for people to take the time to actually write our name down, it means the world to me.
So let's talk about some of those 150 families that you've helped out. As you start this process with someone, what do you think the biggest challenge is that you're dealing with a client?
The biggest challenge is probably just getting them to let go and realizing that we all struggle. We all have things that we want to hold on to, whether it was a gift someone gave us and we feel like we have to hold on to it. If it's not serving us anymore, it's time to let it go and let it go to a home where somebody is going to enjoy it. When we come into your home, we actually handle all of your donations and stuff as well. So you can feel confident in actually, like, when you're getting rid of everything, we are taking it to people who will benefit from those.
So this thing I've held on to since high school, I've never put it anywhere. It's been in a box. How is it that you convince me that the right thing to do is finally let it go?
A little therapy. No, truly, it is a little bit of therapy. It's just, if you're not utilizing it, somebody somewhere is looking for that item or somebody can benefit from it. So we have a lot of homes where a husband and a wife have just gotten married and there's 2 blenders and they want to keep both because one's attached to one and one's attached to the other. And it sounds so silly. They both want their blender. Well, if we can decide to keep one, then we can donate it to somebody who, like a Habitat for Humanity house when that's being built. There's an organization that we work with that furnishes these homes. So we can give these items to people who truly have nothing. And then that usually helps people kind of admit that it's time to let it go.
So I know that Shift into Organized is going to get me straightened out, which is a great thing. But after you leave, what's a hint, some advice you can give me so that I stay organized after that?
Well, that's the whole purpose of organization, is to create a functional system. And there is no cookie cutter way. So every single one of our clients gets something different because everybody flows in their home or in their business a little differently. We're coming in and we're truly evaluating your space and how you move about your day, how you move about your home, what makes sense in certain places. Our job is to create those functional systems for you that are easy to maintain.
If I contact you, and I know people are going to do that, is there any time frame that you think that you can get me straightened out?
Usually within about a month, we can have you on our calendar. We'll go through a consultation process virtually and then in home, and then we'll get all of your product ordered. And as soon as all of your product is in, then we get you on the schedule.
So I'm going to get myself straightened out. Other people in Mount Pleasant are going to do so as well. They're going to contact you, Rebecca, at Shift Into Organized. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
The easiest thing to do is go straight to our website, shiftintoorganized.com, and you can do /connect. And that will take you right to our calendar where you can schedule a virtual consultation right there.
We are talking to and about one of Mount Pleasant's best of, according to the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine, Shift Into Organized. Rebecca Deans, congratulations on the success, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Children's Discovery Centers of Mount Pleasant. They are a best of, so we want to talk to Mount Pleasant's best of. Katie Carter is their executive director. Katie, thanks so much for joining us. How do you describe Children's Discovery Centers?
Children's Discovery Center is truly an extension of the families that we serve here. We are an early childhood provider. We serve kids 6 weeks of age. They leave us and go off to kindergarten. When the children are dropped off, it's our job to give them the absolute best while their parents are at work.
Obviously, being named best of by Mount Pleasant Magazine, Children's Discovery Centers is the best in town. Can you point to something that makes you maybe a little more unique than someone else who might be trying to offer the same things for parents?
I would say the relationship that we have with our families and the children they're special. They're special within the community. And then also our approach to learning, we use the Reggio-inspired philosophy. We see children as confident, capable, and through hands-on exploration, we see lots of growth. And I think that parents enjoy seeing their children learn through play.
So children can be confident in all that, even at age 1, 2, when you have them as that small?
Yeah. When you see them as capable and give them the opportunity to be independent, little things, even from self-serving at lunchtime, passing the food, communicating their needs, being responsible for putting away their plates. Yes, when our kids leave us in pre-K, we're just always amazed at the confidence that they leave with.
So, Katie, how was it that you discovered that the Children's Discovery Centers were nominated and named Best of by Mount Pleasant Magazine?
Stacy, who works with the magazine, she had contacted me to let me know that we had been nominated. And then we were announced the winners. She let us know.
So what does it mean for Children's Discovery Centers that the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine, because those are the people who decide who's the best of, that they made your organization best of?
For us, it means that what we're doing is well received in the community. It means our parents trust us. They are seeing the process of learning take place. Again, that trust, that relationship piece, that is crucial for us within the community.
Now, when visiting your website, I noticed, and I'm very familiar with STEM, I think a lot of people are, but you talk about STEAM. Can you explain what STEAM is and what the difference between STEAM and STEM might be?
They're essentially the same thing. Through our approach, again, that we see children confident and independent, and they learn through play. STEM is incorporated all throughout the centers. Say the Block Center, children are using the engineering piece with building, creating. They're using communication and science. They are using math. They are measuring. They're trial and error. They're problem solving. And so we use STEM throughout the entire learning day, not in just one specific area or one part of the day. It's truly woven throughout the whole program.
And one different letter between STEM and STEAM is just the A. So we're talking about the arts as well?
Yes, art and all of those different modalities of learning are all incorporated throughout these projects that go on throughout the day with the children.
So, Katie, let's run through this. I'm a parent. I drop my son or daughter off at Children's Discovery Centers. What are they doing during the day?
When parents drop off, they make a connection with the teacher, just a brief conversation. Let us know if anything needs to happened over the last 24 hours. And then children immediately began exploring, playing, being in different centers. They dig into like their morning meeting and then their project throughout the day. Also throughout the day, we have meals that are provided, chef that we have on site. We have different activities throughout the day, music, Spanish. We have an outside program that comes in and teaches all about the importance of moving your body and eating healthy.
Well, Katie, you've mentioned a couple of times relationships, that connection that's so important there. Obviously, you must have what you would consider a pretty great staff of teachers to support what's going on there.
Yes, I'm incredibly grateful and blessed by the team that we have at both of our schools. Finding people that have the passion and the desire and the dedication to work with children 8 hours a day is not always an easy task. So we feel very honored that we have the team that we do.
And having two locations has to make it convenient for parents on both sides of Mount Pleasant. Where are the two locations of the Children's Discovery Centers?
Mount Pleasant South location is right beside the Dunkin' Donuts, right off 17. And then in Park West, we have a location that's near the gym.
So talk to a parent now who is considering what they want to do with their young daughter, their young son. What's the first step that they need to take to find out more about Children's Discovery Centers?
So we offer tours. On our website, you can sign up for a tour and call and inquire for a tour. We give those monthly, and then we recommend you highly get on the waiting list. There's an application fee. I always say to new parents, it is a good idea to have option A, B, and C, because sometimes you're not going to be able to get in right when you desire because of our list. Sometimes you have to take plan B before you can get to plan A.
So if my son or daughter may be a little younger, it would still be now is the best time to start moving forward and discovering and maybe applying.
Yes, absolutely. We have people call us to get on the list before they even share with their family that they're pregnant.
Wow. Well, that's looking ahead. That's what you got to do, I guess. That's the secret. So for a parent today, that's the tip. Don't wait. Reach out now.
Yes. And oftentimes people that move to the area, they will often say, listen, we thought the hardest part of this was going to be finding a home. We didn't realize it was going to be finding quality childcare.
For your child, there's nothing better than working with the best. And the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine agree. The best of is Children's Discovery Centers. Katie, first of all, congratulations on winning. And second of all, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today on the Mount Pleasant podcast.
Thank you, Brian. I enjoyed being with you.
If you love Mount Pleasant, you'll love Mount Pleasant Magazine, telling stories about Mount Pleasant for 40 years. First, as East Cooper Magazine when Mount Pleasant had 13,000 residents. Now, as Mount Pleasant Magazine when 95,000 people call Mount Pleasant home. Growing with Mount Pleasant and up the Carolina coast from Georgetown to Pawleys Island to Murrells Inlet. Published for Mount Pleasant residents and enjoyed statewide by travelers who pass through the state and the South Carolina Welcome Centers and beyond. This is your community, and we are your magazine, Mount Pleasant Magazine.
Senior Care Authority of the Lowcountry. You voted them the best in Mount Pleasant Magazine's annual poll. And on the Mount Pleasant podcast, we're talking with the owner of this fine organization, Renee Allison-Riley. Renee, let's start here. What do you think the biggest challenge is for seniors and families in finding care?
You know, there are a lot of challenges. I think that it differs for everybody. The biggest thing that I hear from the people that I work with on a daily basis is that they didn't plan in advance and something happens that really catches them off guard and they don't know what to do and they become overwhelmed with all of the decisions and choices that have to be made in a timely manner, often with little to no experience navigating the next steps.
That being the case, then, how do I know when the right time is to reach out to you at Senior Care and find out for my parent, my grandparent? How do I know when's the good time?
You know, I think most importantly, I would recommend talking with the person that you feel might need care in the future. Find out what's important to them. Find out what you can do to help, because they should very much be part of the process if they can be part of the process. The next step is reaching out to someone like me. There are other people who do what I do as well. But my approach is very personalized and very hands-on, and there is never a cost for a consultation, and the placement services that I offer are always at no cost. So pick up the phone, send me an email, and schedule some time to have a preliminary conversation so that you at least have a roadmap on next steps.
So obviously being in communication with that person is important, making them a part of the process. Is there any kind of way that you could talk to, for example, myself? How do I know when it's time to have that conversation with you for my dad, my mom?
Usually there are signs that you can observe as an adult child. It could be that the house is not maintained in a way that you're used to seeing it maintained. Maybe there are bills that are being paid late. It could be that there has been some new health issues or increased falls that weren't happening the year before. Usually you can tell by just talking to them, looking around. If they're self-isolating more than they used to, maybe they're forgetting things, medicines aren't being maintained properly. Those are going to be signs. Another sign that is often there, and it's not necessarily related to physical health, but sometimes an older adult might be lonely. Their world has gotten smaller. Some of their friends have passed away. Maybe they don't have access to their siblings or their children, and they're just not getting out. And that loneliness can really be devastating to the overall health of an older adult.
So, Renee, the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine voted Senior Care Authority of the Lowcountry the best. What does that mean for you personally and for Senior Care Authority?
It was an honor, and I want to thank everyone who voted for me in the Mount Pleasant community. I have been recognized actually in this category. This is my third year, but this is my first year taking the number one spot, and it really just meant so much to me. I grew up in Mount Pleasant, and so I love the area, and I love the clients that I work with and the communities that I partner with, as well as all of my referral partners. And I really just feel so very honored to be a resource for those who are navigating senior living and care options.
I think there's a point, at least with some people, that reaching out to someone like yourself with Senior Care Authority, a little bit of guilt. People shouldn't feel bad about trying to get help for their parents, should they?
Never. It's an emotional process. And I've personally been through it, so I definitely understand. It's very complex, and there is no judgment involved in this process, though, because oftentimes, having to navigate next steps, whether it's an assisted living community or it's memory care, sometimes it might just be independent living. Maybe your mother lost her husband and now she's alone, and you really are concerned because she doesn't have a social outlet or she doesn't feel like she has a purpose. Finding community in a senior living environment is really wonderful. And so many older adults think of senior living as it was for their parents, which really was just skilled nursing, traditional nursing homes. That is not what the environment is anymore. There is so much to do. There's so many activities. There's a community for everyone. It is not one size fits all. So there should never be shame or guilt involved in the process. If it's coming from a good place and you want what's best for your mom or your dad, then it's the right thing to do, to at least have the conversation and explore the options.
Renee, if I've reached that point, I believe, say with my parents, my grandparents, what's the first step I need to take in order to get in touch with Senior Care Authority?
The first step is calling my office or sending me an email, or you can go to my website and fill out a form on my website that will get routed directly to me. And I make it a point to call people back very quickly or respond via email so that we can schedule a time to talk. I'm very invested in understanding what is important to the adult child who's navigating this journey, but also what is important to their parents. Something that's very different about what I do compared to some of the other groups that do this type of work is that I'm not going to just send you a list of places to go and see. Here's some great places. They match your budget. Good luck. I set up the tours for my clients. I go on the tours with my clients. If a client moves into one of these communities, I'm also following up once they've moved in to make sure it's been a good fit. Because if I didn't help you find the right place, then I feel like I didn't do my job. That is truly important to me and to what I do at Senior Care Authority.
And that is why the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine have voted Senior Care Authority of the Lowcountry the best. Renee Allison-Riley, congratulations and thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
We always love to highlight Mount Pleasant's best, as voted by the readers of Mount Pleasant Magazine on our Best of podcast here on the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Thanks for listening or watching this special episode of the Mount Pleasant Podcast. Your community, your podcast. Listen or watch past or future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.